Welcome to the Put Up, everybody. I am A.K.A. the Wizard, and this is the Put Up. We're on season 2, episode 29, I believe, at this point. And this is where we hear all the untold stories from independent artists all over the world. So today's no exception. We're going to get into it in a moment here, but before we do, like, share, and subscribe below. And I also want to let you guys know that there's spots going to be available, open soon for new interviews coming up after the start of the new year in 2026. So if you're interested in getting a spot on the show, then hit up the link below. And yeah, we'll make it happen for you. But without further ado, today we have another exceptional guest coming on the show from Buffalo, New York. We have Hello London. How you doing, bro?
Good. How are you?
Man, it's been a crazy week getting prepared for that show that I did the other night there and all that stuff. Doing mixes in the studio here for another album that's coming out next year. Yeah, it's been crazy. How about you?
Yeah, there's always something going on. So, there's always something to work on. There's always things happening. So yeah, it's definitely a lot going on. Very busy, for sure.
Content creation, like all this stuff. Yeah, making reels all the time. Oh, it's a crazy world we live in now, right?
Amount of work. Yeah.
Well, it's
Absolutely it
important
is.
that we keep making this stuff in real life and we get together face to face and stuff with AI trying to like creep into our lives more and more, right? And giving people that real human connection piece of it for us to like get to know artists like yourself, right?
Yeah. Yeah, AI, man. It's a crazy thing. It's really kind of scary, kind of interesting, but I don't think anyone's super impressed so far with what they've seen.
Yeah, and I just heard about a recent like deal maybe with between Spotify and the major labels to try and help artists using AI. It doesn't make sense to me fully yet. But
Oh,
yeah,
so trying to kind of encourage artists to use AI more.
no, I think they're gonna invest in tools to supposedly help artists on the network, like on Spotify somehow. So I'm not sure how that looks yet. I'm kind of
Gonna
skeptical, to be honest.
do.
But yeah, let's jump into the interview, bro. We want to hear about you today. It's gonna be amazing. So let's take me all the way back to the start. Like, how'd you start your creative journey as an artist? Like, where did all this come from in the beginning?
Like as an artist, I was always just really into music, and ever since I was a kid, I was always writing songs. So my parents had me in guitar lessons at a young age. I was in orchestra at school, and
Orchestra.
music was, yeah. I did a few years of orchestra. I played the upright bass,
Oh, that's
so
cool.
that helped. Learning to read music, and I took 5 years of basically it was classical guitar. So I was like playing classical pieces and like reading music. So it was a little bit of a I don't know what most people's guitar lessons look like, but I would imagine they might be a little different than that. But it was a lot. It was a lot of
Okay,
like
let me
reading
ask you
music.
then, because I took guitar lessons at the very beginning like that too, right? And a
Yeah,
lot of it was like because I was left-handed, so like the teacher was right-handed, right? And he had to like
interesting.
transpose stuff for me, so he would write all these scales out for me, and it was like on tab paper, right?
Yeah.
Is that the same kind of thing that you did, like diatonic scales, Lydians, like all that kind of stuff?
No. Actually,
Okay.
no. I learned basically my pentatonic scales, and a lot of it was playing songs from a book and just like learning different songs. And I learned different, like I learned all the chords.
Right.
Um, but
Okay, how many chords though with classical guitar?
yeah, yeah. So everything was just kind of like a lot of it, I should say, was like a really small chord, like three. I don't know what you would call that, like three strings. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like you would play your notes, you would play your, when you're playing this song, like classical guitar. If you listen to it, it's a lot of like, it's like a little riff and then a chord and then more notes and a chord. So it's
Okay. Are you
it was a
finger
lot of
picking too
that.
then at that point?
I do remember being taught how to like properly finger pick. Yeah.
See, that's
Yeah.
something
This
I
is
had to learn on my own after. That's crazy.
Oh, so you're basically learning all the scales
Yeah, all the scales,
and
all the chords, like
music theory.
seventh chords and
Yeah.
major ninth chords and all that kind of stuff, right? And then all the
Hmm.
scales. And then, like, after that, it actually got to the point where he just told me to stop coming back. But we'd be like, he'd be tabbing out for me, like, how to play songs that I would bring in. So we'd like
Yeah.
listen to the song and he'd be
Yeah.
like, okay, I got it. We're just going to write this out. And then he'd show me how to play it upside down. He could play upside down too. This is wild.
Yeah, it's amazing how good some of these guitar teachers are, or most of them. Like
Yeah, man.
they always can just play their way in and out of a guitar. It's crazy.
Okay, so tell us how you got from like doing that, like learning how to play, all the way up to like releasing music today.
So I was always like writing, um, pretty much on and off all the way through high school, college. Um, everybody was like in a band, or like if you could play guitar, it was like a very cool thing to do when I was a kid. Was be in a band. So I think when I was in college, one of the bands I was in decided to go to like a proper studio because our friends had done it as well. So once we got like proper recordings done, like we were talking about before, back then it was MySpace and Pure Volume and a couple other websites, and we would just put
MySpace.
put the songs out. Yeah,
Is
put
it
the
coming
songs.
back?
We're going Green Day. It's got to come back, right? It's everything comes full circle. But no, it's weird though because Facebook is still going so strong, and back then it was Facebook or MySpace. It was like one or the
Right.
other,
Is that
and
wild?
now
Oh, just all of this.
MySpace is done.
Yeah, that's nuts, man. That's the only one that kept going throughout the entire like lifespan of like reality for the past 25 years, right? Facebook. That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, it's totally nuts. It's very interesting. But like I said, it was just putting our songs on the internet and playing shows. And
Nice.
I took a bit of a hiatus, a long hiatus, I should say, for like 10 years. I didn't play a show. I did like one song where I went to the studio and recorded one song, just kind of a one-off because I think I was thinking about getting back into it, and so I must have gotten inspired. And then a few years later, in 2020, I decided that it would be cool to try and record on a laptop in a DAW and check it out and see how it goes. And because it's always so intimidating when you're first like starting something like that, and I really didn't know anything about it, but I knew that if I just got my feet wet and then kept going, that I would get better and better at it over time, which is something that I kind of didn't understand, I guess, when I was younger. Like that, when you're in a situation where you're put in guitar lessons at a young age, or you're taught things, and like you have the gift of being able to do it, which is awesome, but you also don't really appreciate like self-learning or being self-taught.
Mm.
And I think I had always kind of been so intimidated by, recording in a DAW that I never bothered to try. So, I finally decided to give it a shot, and I've been doing it for about 5 years now. And just, I know that like I need to be motivated to release the music to keep recording and keep learning. So I've been releasing, whatever, pretty much everything I record, I release now.
Nice.
So that pretty much brings me up to where I'm at right now
Yeah, and it's
with that.
interesting because like he didn't have access to a lot of the technologies that we do today back then too, right? So like it grew kind of along with you, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. Like the Focusrite interfaces that so many people have. I use one, and when those came out, um, or when it started being like public knowledge that you can like buy these for however much they cost, not a lot really at all for what they do. and then more and more people are doing it now. So
Right. Yeah,
definitely
and like
changed.
I remember back when I first started getting into recording, it was very like I bought Pro Tools and it would only work with certain interfaces. You couldn't just hook a Focusrite up and go. It just would not work with the software, right? So they had it kind of like license locked to certain interfaces back then until
Oh,
version 9 or 10. And then finally they allowed you because they were made at that point and like becoming popular, right? So then they
yeah,
were like, we can't hold them back anymore. We just gotta like, and then that's where like Studio One and all these other like DAWs came from at that point, was just like competition because they needed something else that they could hook a Focusrite up to, right?
yeah. Okay. I kind of missed all that because I wasn't obviously recording yet. But like by the time I got into it, you know, Focusrite was just such a common thing to have one.
Yeah, everybody's got one now, right?
It's it really, like, it's crazy. It's just whether or not you know want to give it a shot or not, I think.
Yeah, and I suggest anybody that wants to definitely try it. You know, that's just expand what you do, right?
Yeah, yeah. I would say I've learned so much about like sound in general. I didn't understand EQ before. I mean, I'm still learning
Okay.
about it. Like there's a lot to learn, but like I knew like, highs, lows, I
Like
knew
on a car
the
stereo,
tone
they have
knob.
them.
Yeah, yeah. But I didn't know like how it can affect like, mixing different tracks together, and like how, you have to make space for one instrument or the other, or like, so it's like been a lot of learning, a lot of information.
Nice. Okay, well, describe to everybody your style, like your sound. What makes it yours?
I think it's who I am and it's my identity. I try and be honest, and I try and put myself into my lyrics and my songs. So it's it's just like this is this is me, and I put it out there, and hopefully that if people like it and they gravitate towards it and they find it relatable, then that's awesome. And I think there's something for everybody, and I think that for most artists out there, I think there's people that will, if you can find them, that's the challenge. But there's people that will appreciate what you do. So it's not like what the music I'm making is really avant-garde in any way, but it's authentic, I think.
Yeah,
So
it
I think
has
that
like to me, it has that like what would you describe it as like the genre? It's a little bit punkish, but it's more rock, right? Like on average.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like I went through a big in high school. It was like emo and pop punk, and then
Yeah,
in
I can
college
hear
it was,
that in it.
yeah,
Definitely.
and then in college it was like music history, and it was like everything from the British invasion through like '90s Britpop to like modern indie rock.
Nice.
Arcade Fire was really big, the Shins, that type of stuff. So I went through a big phase of listening to music like that. So I think I kind of, for this project, landed in between those two genres,
Yeah, cool.
which is kind of nice. Yeah.
So like what inspires like when you go to write a song, where do you get the ideas from? What inspires you to make that stuff?
Um, I'm definitely, like I said, like trying to be authentic. So it's a lot of everyday life stuff. And it's just like, trying to tap into your emotions and put it into a song so that it's relatable. And, or maybe I shouldn't say trying, because it's kind of something that happens naturally when people start, writing a melody. Um, and it's like you just trying to make something that people will appreciate, that you will appreciate, because I feel like for a songwriter like me, there's a song that I'm trying to make happen. You know what I mean? And it's cool to like record and to put it together and like see it kind of coming together. And it's also a challenge too, because you have to get that sound across that you want. So I think for me, it's like, okay, can I make this happen? Can I make it sound the way it sounds in my head? and can I convey that to the listener, and then hopefully they'll appreciate it.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask you that next, actually. Like, walk us through how it becomes from like a thing inside your head. So you have something already that you hear in your head then, and you're just trying to get it to like translate out to sound after that, right?
Yeah, I think that's where like growing up taking lessons comes in, because you can, once you get to the point where you can figure out how to play songs by ear, you can kind of figure out how to play what's in your head
Nice.
on an instrument.
That's
So
cool,
yeah,
man.
a lot of it starts in my head for sure.
That's just
And
like me, actually.
yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like I hear the whole production inside my head, and then it's just a matter of like making it sound that way on the paper, if you will, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And it's crazy because I feel like when I first got back into writing and recording, I hadn't played really, I hadn't like written a lot in a while. So for me, it was the ideas and the sounds, and like I had whole songs playing in my head because it had been so long, you know what I mean, since I had done it, and it was so like exciting and fresh. So
Nice.
yeah, like to basically hear the whole band in your head and then go and try and make it happen. Yeah, it's a very cool experience.
Well, I think we're gonna show them one. We're gonna go and hear a song now. Before we do that, I wanted to like highlight the one that you just put out recently. It's called Crowns, right? So that's like your most recent release. Tell them a little bit about that before we go to your other song, which is Change of Pace, that they're going to hear first. And then we'll go and hear that song a little bit later in the interview. But tell them about both first there.
So Crowns is the latest song I put out. And it's a high energy, like kind of an anthemic song. I think I started that one with the guitar riff. If I'm not mistaken, the intro riff is where it started, and it kind of just built around that. It's definitely a song that I kind of push boundaries with. Vocally, I think I was a bit higher than normal, which is something that I try to do. Just try to push yourself. I know, like some people say, like in order to sing your best, you have to sing your worst first. You have to push your boundaries a little bit so that you can push your voice into a different areas that you're not comfortable. So I think that's kind of what that song did for me, which is cool. And then A Change of Pace is just like a pop, a very poppy. I was listening to a lot of pop punk, and it's just like a song that came to me. I don't remember. It was a couple of years ago. I don't remember what it started with, but I know that when I got done with it, I was like really kind of surprised at the way it turned out, because it's definitely on the popular side of what I do. But lyrically, it's just like, like dealing with themes of escapism and, everyday life stuff that we all go through, and, trying to get through it.
Well, yeah, let's go to it. Let's hear it.
Told myself over and over and over again that everything will be just fine. I'm falling down, the world is spinning out of control, and I know that I believed a lie. The West Coast is calling out to me, but it seems so far away. The East is always mine. A new joke that I wrote, but no one seems to think it's funny. I guess it just takes time. All in all, it's the same, just another dying day, giving life to what we made. much left to figure out. Do I wanna say my line? Keeping on, the days are blurring together. I'm running out of time. The highway is calling out to take me somewhere far away, a different state of mind. But today is getting in my way again. I guess that I will wait for the next ride. All in all, it's the same, just another dying day, giving life to what we made. Growing strong, move along. Could I write the saddest song so that the past gets rearranged? It must be time to run away. I hear the waves call out my
Welcome back to the Put Up, everybody. I'm A.K.A. the Wizard, and we have Hello London over here today with us. And the song that you just heard is it's Change of Pace. That one right there, right? Just before we get back into the interview, though, like, share, and subscribe if you're just joining us below on the screen here. And if you want to get a spot on the Put Up yourself, there's going to be new openings coming soon for being the same spot as James over here. So yeah, that link's below as well. But we're gonna hop back into it, bro. Challenges. What's been the hardest thing that you've had to experience at becoming an artist, being an artist now?
I would say like part of like when I got back into playing music after so long away from it was that my life had changed so much, and now like I'm an adult, obviously married, and my wife and I have a kid now, and like it's so different than when you're in college and you have, you know, your whole life ahead of you, and you have, you know, a lot more it feels like a lot more time. I guess it could be sometimes I feel like I had less time. I just did more. I ran around more, you know, when you're younger. So so yeah, that's, you know, getting back into it and just kind of being in a different place, you know, in my personal life was definitely a challenge, because mentally you're trying to jump back into something where you're like, I was here before, so this is how it's going to be. And now I get back into it and I'm playing, and like it's totally different. Like the vibe is different. What I'm getting out of playing music is a lot different. So you know, it's good. It's not like necessarily good or bad. It's just different. I think that's probably been the biggest challenge for me.
Yeah, because it was weird, because I went to college at a different phase in my life. I already had 2 kids at that point, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah, I didn't even go through that. Like, I don't know. It's not like a partier stage, but it's like that more free place of your life or whatever before you have children, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Where you've got a car, like, I remember it was so weird going from being in school Monday through Friday to just being in school, you know, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and an hour on Thursday or whatever. Like that's kind of how college is. So it's like, you know, and then you have work schedules that are all over the place. When you're a kid, I worked overnights in college, and I could like bring my guitar into work. And I remember, you know, like playing a lot of shows and then going into work after. But I could never do that now. Like I can't go play a show at my age with my, you know, life situation and then, you know, go in working overnights. That just wouldn't work for me. So
yeah, that'd be wild.
Yeah, just be too much. So yeah, there's definitely a mental shift. Definitely a part of I guess part of growing up.
Okay, so on the flip side of that, like, what's been your biggest success in the music industry, like your personal journey so far with artistry?
I don't know if like I would measure it in terms of like numbers or anything like that or accomplishments because yeah, like I played with some artists that I grew up listening to and I'm like really stoked about. But like my own personal growth as far as like learning and like what we were talking about before, like learning about music and how to record and just kind of like getting better at your craft
Nice.
has probably been what I would consider to be the greatest success for me.
Cool. Yeah, because you know what? Like the one main artist I work with just got Pro Tools like a week ago. And so we've been going through that process of like, how do we set it up? How do we get it to record on
Oh,
that whole thing, right? It's almost
yeah,
like that, right? Where it's like he's at the beginning of that stage again after already doing it for many years in a different program, right? It's
yeah,
almost like that, right? Where you can just be proud of being able to hit record and get sound back out of the damn thing, right?
yeah. That's got to be very cool to sit with somebody who's learning it and show them the ropes. That would be a very interesting experience. Yeah,
I
that's
was actually
exactly what it
thinking
is.
of like opening up like a service where I can like teach Pro Tools to people or something. You know what I mean? Like the advanced stuff that I do in it.
Yeah, yeah. They have there's a studio here in Buffalo that does classes on it.
Nice.
So
That's
yeah,
amazing.
I'm sure that would go over really well.
Hmm. Interesting.
There's also there's also like like when you're in the studio and you're trying to watch the like I remember trying to watch the guy that was recording us and like watching what he's doing and it's just so like kind of mysterious. Like I remember the guy, yeah, like you're just like, what are you doing? Like this seems so like it's so out of reach, or at least it seemed like it. Like I remember watching the guy our recording engineer put all the patch cables into the board.
Right. And you got to know where
And
they go and which ones hook up to what. And like they have an entire
yeah,
web in their head, like an encyclopedia of their own studio, right?
yeah, yeah. And I'm just we asked him, we were like, what are you doing right now? Because he was doing it and it was taking forever.
We're
And
hooking up a
like
compressor, bro. You know?
we were all like so mystified by it. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually learned how to do that in college on a big SSL, like 48 channel duality, man. It's nuts.
That's got to be pretty. I tried to look up like how to do that specifically once, and it was kind of confusing for me. But I guess
So a
that's why
lot
you
of
go to
stuff
school
like
for
my
it.
gear here in the studio. I was gonna get into like what gear you use next, actually, but before I do, like, yeah, a lot of the stuff I have in my racks here are just what they call normal. So they're only ever connected to what they're connected to. They're permanently connected, and you can just send to them right inside the software. But then on like an
Okay.
analog patch bay, the way it works is there's like a patch box there, and nothing's connected because you can connect it multiple different ways, right? So then it's like each one of those little cables they plug in has to be specific to the way they want to route it at that point in time. Say they want 4 vocals to go into one compressor, right? They have to wire it differently than if they were just doing like a single guitar, right?
Oh, so
Yeah, it
that's
gives
how
you
you.
options.
Okay. So if I only want my vocals to go through the compressor and not the guitar, that's where
Right.
that comes in, basically.
Yeah, like
Okay.
there's you can hook it up any way you want. You can have like one channel going into the other one on like a bus type thing and then bring all of them into the compressor or like however you want to put that, right?
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, man,
Very,
it's
very
one of the
nice.
things. Okay, so like
Yeah.
what tools do you use to record? You said you have a little Focusrite interface, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Here, I'll show you since we're
Yeah,
here.
I'd love to see it all.
This is pretty much it right now.
Nice.
My Focusrite, I have a preamp. I have a sonic maximizer that I thought I would try out and rarely use, and a compressor and a reverb, and then everything else. And then I go into my Focusrite, and then everything else is
Kind of in the box.
everything else. Yeah, Yeah, so that's pretty bare bones. There's definitely some more things I would like to add to that, but
As time allows, right?
yeah, yeah. It's time. That's basically it. Like I could go buy all this stuff, but I got to figure out how to use it too, and that takes time, like you
Well, you got to
said.
make sure that you're like kids fed and all, like the rent's paid and like all this.
I got yeah. He's one, and he likes the Swiffer, which is he's really into. He just started doing it the other day with me, so I was like, "What? I don't have to mop now."
Dude, you can make yourself like an artist tag with whispers. That'd be sweet.
No, I said sorry. I said Swiffer, like the mop.
Oh, I thought you said
Yeah.
whisper, bro.
But I'm just saying, like.
Wait, you
I
got him
pay my
cleaning
bills,
at one?
clean
That's
the house,
epic.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yo, how do you do that? I got like a 10-year-old that still won't do that. You know what I mean?
I'm just completely mystified right now. I don't know. It's
Wow.
hilarious.
Okay. Yo, that's even cooler than a freaking whisper, man. Shit.
Yeah. I guess.
Okay, another technically related question. Is there anything weird or particular that you do when you record that like no other artist probably does?
Yeah, I saw. I don't know. I'm probably doing some things in an unorthodox. I don't want to say wrong, but I'm probably doing some things in a very unorthodox manner. Just because it's been a lot of DIY and a lot of YouTube tutorials and Google searches. So I'm sure some of the things that I'm doing, like trying to figure out how to put the plugins in the right order and getting
Okay.
3 different answers. So I would consider myself still to be a bit of a beginner, but yeah, I don't know. Like I don't think I think I'm trying my best to do things the correct way, the way that most people do it. So I don't think I'm at the point yet where I would be like, this is really unique that I'm doing, like, with like my tone or whatever, my guitar tone, something like that. Like I've always been, more of a songwriter first. So if anything is unique with what I'm doing, it's probably more in my songwriting. But I like, as far as recording goes, yeah, it's just a challenge for me to like try and do everything correctly, I would say.
Cool.
I'm sure that you like.
Oh, I've been through it all, bro. Like I've
Yeah.
done everything wrong too. From like, I used to use like a $20 Radio Shack mic into the computer directly, no preamp. You know what I mean? Like that's how I started.
Wow.
Yeah, so like way back, yeah, I couldn't afford anything. I didn't even know there was such thing as an audio interface before Pro Tools, right? Before I got that little system that I was running. So it was like just to get sound to record, man. I was on like Microsoft Windows sound recorder type shit, you know? It was wild.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I remember like when I was in college, I started recording on a Tascam 4-track cassette recorder. And that was kind of like, I remember like I had to take it over to my friend's house for him to basically like master the songs onto his computer because I didn't know how to do it. Like, but that's kind of where I got started, and it's completely different.
Yeah, I think some of the
And-
viewers that will
Recording
see this
digital.
probably have never even heard of a 4-track before, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It was old when I started using it. I can't imagine how old it is now. Like now it's like something people do nostalgically.
Actually, you want to know
But-
what? I went even further back than using that little $20 mic. I had like a ghetto box. You know those old school ones where you like single speaker, there's a microphone on top of it. You hit play and record on a tape to like record
Yeah.
into it type thing. So that's
Yeah.
actually where I started when I was like 5. I recorded right on like an acoustic piano with that thing.
Yeah, that's I remember doing that.
Yeah, it's
That's-
cool, right? To go back to think about that. Like some of these people don't even know what a tape is at this point, you know, like they're just not in the market. CDs aren't even barely, right? Like
No, CDs, people don't don't have time for that anymore. You know.
Right, they stopped putting them in cars about 5 years ago. I used to install CD players, like car audio systems, into cars when I was like a teenager, right? And now like they don't come with one. It's just Bluetooth and like you can run Spotify right on the dash with it.
Yeah.
You know, like
I'd love to have one. I think that would be awesome.
I still have
But
one
yeah.
under the desk here, an old school Pioneer deck.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, an
That's
amplifier, a subwoofer for the trunk, the whole thing, man.
Oh, that's sweet.
I plan on putting it back in something someday, just to like have that nostalgic like play a CD in a car thing, you know?
It's to me, it's so much easier to pop a CD in than it is to mess around on my phone and set up my playlist.
It's true.
I don't know. I mean, maybe not for most people, but
Well, it brings into
that.
question, right? Like this thing of did we go forward or backwards with technology, right? Like there's definitely cons and pros to both of them, right?
Yeah, yeah. I was just thinking about this today about how like I have every album I could ever want on my phone. And so there's certain albums that I will never give the time of day that back in the day, if I had bought the CD, it might grow on me, you know?
Right. Yeah, yeah. And like
Because
the
I
way we
would've
listen to a
invested.
CD, right? The difference in that being like it's kind of linear almost in a way compared to, I don't know, on Spotify, you might just happen to pick track 8 first. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Some random song on a playlist.
Yeah, and then that's all you ever hear of that artist, possibly, even unless it's like some banger like single or something, and you just have to go find more, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. There's the investment of energy and money is just not there
yeah,
for getting your music.
yeah, that's crazy to think about, man. Times change. It's just how it is, right?
Yeah.
But I think
Yeah,
we're gonna hear
MySpace
your
is
second song. What time do we got here?
Cool.
Yeah, I think we should. We're gonna go hear your song called "Crowns" now that you talked about a little bit before. Tell us a little bit more about that song, bro.
Yeah. It's been out a couple months. What were we? October. So it came out on September 4th. I thought I have like a handful of songs recorded that I'm looking to put together as I get more done for my next album. And I like this song. This is actually like I think the first song out of those songs that I recorded, and I was like, yeah, I don't know, like is it a song I should release as a single? I kind of went back and forth on it, listened to it a bunch, and just decided to go for it. So hopefully people like it. It seems like it's got a had a good reaction so far. But it's a chorus, really. To me, the song's about the chorus.
Nice. Okay, well, let's go and roll that.
After so long, and this is the worst part. fever dream, a nightmare in the night. Half open doors and shadows, built on questionable things. I've slipped into a fever dream. I have just about the future as I live like a madman. What's that you said to me? The dream is over, it's make believe. And when we all fall down, I'll do my best to find the shattered crumbs of yesterday. Of yesterday.
Welcome back to the Put Up, everybody. I'm A.K.A. the Wizard, and we have Hello London with us today over here. And the song that you just heard was Crowns, his latest release. And I believe that's going to be on an album maybe one day. Is that what you said before?
That's what I'm hoping. Hoping to get the next album out sometime in 2026.
Nice. Well, we'll be looking for that, bro, for sure. I got to hear the whole thing.
Yeah, man. Don't just listen to the playlist.
No, I got to go right from the start to the, because like a lot of times when you make an album, there's a theme to the entire thing. Like it follows like a process. It tells a story, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to listen to the
Yeah.
whole thing as a whole if it's going to be an album, just to like experience that other layer to it, right? Especially today.
Yeah, that's another thing that's changed over time is the album is kind of taking a back seat to, playlists and singles and all that, which is crazy.
Yeah, you have like those marketing guys. I watch a lot of them actually on like Instagram and stuff, right? And they're suggesting like if you're not like this massive mainstream hit kind of artist already, that you don't release an album right away, right? That you do single until you get that attention before you try and release that album, right? So like it's totally changed. Yeah, man, it's nuts.
Yeah, stacking singles.
Yeah, I don't know which approach is better, to be honest. Like it's more in like, how do you care about your art, right? It's like, what do you want to portray across to people with the way you put stuff out, right?
Yeah, and it's interesting too because like now that people are pushing singles more, an album feels more special. And I remember when like I was younger and CDs were still popular and everybody was putting out albums. And when you saw like a CD single in a store, it seemed kind of like very unique. So I remember like I used to buy those because I thought that was so cool. Or like a short EP, like a 3 or 4 song EP. It was like kind of a special thing back then because everybody was putting out albums.
Do you feel like now in like today's age that maybe if you saw an artist that you'd never seen and they only put out an album first, no single, like you'd be more interested in it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think like you mean like right now in today's day and age?
Yeah, like instead of like the single train kind of thing.
Yeah, possibly. If they just had the album out. What I tried to do for the last album I put out was put out the entire album and then just go through track by track and make content for each song. Okay. So I was like, yeah. I did the waterfall release strategy with the singles for my album Past Futures, and I don't know. I just felt like why do I want my page to have 5 or 6 different singles and then the album when I it's just seems so much cleaner to have the albums in your discography like than just a mess of singles, which is what I go on a lot of these artist pages and there's so much that they're doing, so many different singles. You got like I got to sort through 5 remixes of the same song before I can find their album. kind of getting
Interesting.
a little crazy.
Yeah, it's almost a disservice to like the listener in a way in some cases, right?
Yeah, I would say
Interesting.
so.
Okay, so my next question: how do you connect with your fans and make your art relatable to them?
Yeah, for me, I think it's just putting it out there. I think I'm not really quite at the spot where, obviously, like, going to shows, playing shows, connecting with people is, in my opinion, the best way to get people to care about your art. To have that real connection, in the flesh, so to speak. But I
Right.
think also, on the flip side of it, how things are nowadays, it's a lot of put your stuff out there, put your music out there. I try not to worry too much about, making the perfect content that is, going to blow up or go viral. I just try and make content that I think is good and try and be consistent about it. And when people are receptive, I try and be appreciative of that. I think that's huge.
Nice. And like, what do you hope they take away from your art when they hear it?
For me, I think music is a feeling. It's an emotional thing, and it's trying to connect, with a certain part of yourself. So I hope that people, enjoy the feeling that they get from listening to music, and I guess that's kind of a simplistic way of putting it or looking at it. But I'm not like, trying to change people's perspective. I know people are who they are. I just want to give people a good experience through music.
Nice. Yeah, I've heard all kinds of things when it comes to that, man. I think the whole like overall point of it is like just expressing yourself in such a way that they can connect with it, right? On whatever level they're feeling it at, right?
Yeah, yeah. Somebody out there. If you can find them, but not everyone might appreciate the song, but there are definitely people who will.
Yeah, there's gonna be haters too, right? Like there's always somebody out there that's like, that sucks. Oh man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so what are you working on right now, bro? Like you're working on that album that's gonna come out next year, right?
Yep. Yeah, I'm just, trying to continue. I have like, for the first time since I've started doing this, I've worked, since like 2020. I've worked on basically one song at a time. For the first time, I ended up with a kind of a collection of songs that I was kind of working on all of them, different parts of each song. So that's been
Hmm.
kind of a different way of doing things, different way of going about things. And it is cool to come back to a song after not like, messing with it for a while. Um, so I've been working on the next album in a little bit of a different way, but yeah, it's just keep pushing, keep going, and keep on working on trying to get things to sound better and trying to write things that I think like I like to think that I'm improving as a songwriter as well
Do you think that's
over
gonna
time.
change like how it's perceived or how the record comes across, like doing it that way now instead of like one song at a time?
Yeah, I think like on my last album, kind of an issue for me was that I didn't actually put the songs in order of when I recorded them, even though I did them all one at a time. I tried to put the track list in order of a way that I felt like it flowed, like the song flowed into the next. But sometimes you can hear on the album that like my mixing and my recording process is a little different song to song. So I think this might
Interesting.
help make it a little bit more cohesive in that
Yeah,
in
that's what
that
I
way.
was getting at. Is like I feel like it might feel tighter to the listener as they like listen across them, right?
Yeah, because like when I played in bands, I recorded I played in a band where we would go into the studio and record a song in one day, and then played a couple of years later in a band that went in and recorded an album where we did each, like properly, like the drums were all done on one day. bass on the next day, etc. So I think this might be a little bit more like that, but you know, I've always just kind of done things one song at a time. But it's
Interesting.
definitely two different ways of doing it for sure. Singles versus an album thing, I guess.
Yeah, and that's what I'm getting at too, is like how like when you do the singles, maybe they don't connect the same way as if you were to make an album like all at once like that, right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
I would love to have, you know, time to write. You really have to commit to writing your album and then recording it, and I don't know. That's an interesting. Now you got me thinking. Now you got me
Good.
thinking. Could I do that myself? I don't know. I don't know if it would work. Or like, I don't know. Solo artists do that a lot, or if they do one song at a time.
Well, and I think there is no right answer when it comes to that, technically, right? Like some guys have 3/4 of a song written for 10 years, and then they're just like one day that final piece clicks or whatever, and boom, you've got yourself the finished thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's very can be all over the place.
Nice. Okay, lastly, before we go today, how can fans connect with you if they want to collaborate with you? Maybe like where do they go to see your art? Your main thing is like on your link tree, right? It's just like all your different spots where you have DSP activity, right?
Yeah, probably the best place to connect if anybody wanted to collaborate. I have collaborated before with a few artists. Would probably be on Instagram.
Okay.
That seems to be like the spot that I focus on the most. It's just kind of easy. So yeah, I would say that's probably the way to go. I'm also on X and do a fair amount of posting on there too. So that's another option.
Nice. Well, anybody that's hearing this, if you want to get in touch with Hello London, there you go. Instagram or X. I love it. X
Yeah,
is
man.
actually where I started like the whole community that I was involved. Like I'm still involved with them, but like it's grown to such a huge thing outside of that now as a result of just doing the show and stuff, right? But yeah, X is like where I got my start. I was all alone, like had nobody to talk to, and I was like finally found a community on X.com, you know? And it was
Oh, no
right when
way.
it was literally right when it was switching from Twitter to X. I like hopped on that same week. It was crazy.
Really? That's when you got on there? Wow.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
that was
like
a
what,
big.
2 years ago?
Yep. Yeah, that was a big deal.
Oh yeah, there's animosity every day on there, right?
Yeah, and then everyone was switching to Blue Sky, which I never did.
Now they're
I'm not
back, you know?
yeah, I figured that would happen. I was like, everyone's trying to switch to the same website on a different name or different ownership, or I don't know, man. There's been so many different social media sites that have come and gone, and it's so hard to differentiate between like which ones are worth your time and which ones. So I try and stick with the main ones and not get too overwhelmed with trying to be on every single, you know, different social media site. I'm on Bandcamp too, and I just found out that there's
Oh, there
all
you
these
go.
different competitors for Bandcamp that you can put your music on as well. And I'm like trying to scratch my head, figure out do I need to go on these ones too, or like do I just stick with the main ones? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Cool.
the internet is an endless web, I guess.
No, and the interesting thing about Bandcamp is like a play on there gets you a royalty right away. You know what I mean? Like it's monetized in a way that way, like through the PROs.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting landscape.
Yeah. I've got merch on Bandcamp too, if anybody wants to check that out.
Well, yeah, we're gonna make sure we drop the link below here with your Bandcamp on it then too, just so that people can
Cool.
get there really quick from here. Is it on your link tree? Yeah.
Yeah, it should be.
Okay, maybe we'll like. Okay, so everybody, it's on the link tree, but I might even just go on there after and pull it out as like a merch link. Let's see.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Well, yo,
See if I can move
that's it for the interview, bro. Thanks so much for coming on here today. It's been a hoot, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All the way from Buffalo, New York. Well, it's not even that far from me, to be honest.
It's kind of up the road, yeah.
just one
Yeah.
highway away, a very long one, you know?
Yep. Yeah. And Toronto is such a cool place, man. It's such
It's
a beautiful
definitely
city.
it's almost like New York City or something, but smaller, you know, where it's like just giant concrete jungle, you know?
And cleaner. Yeah. And like Mississauga's huge
Yeah,
too.
it's almost
Like,
becoming like a tri-city type area. It's like they're all combining because like slowly the gap between them is just filling in with more stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
And they actually said like where we are in Kitchener might become like the next Toronto like that, where they plan like 40 or 50 new buildings to put up like sky rises. So yeah,
No
it's a
way.
wild thing what's happening. Yeah, man. It's crazy.
Wow.
And they've added like 3 million people to the population in 5 years. Like it's just going nuts, man.
Wow. Crazy. Yeah. Canada's very packed. Very packed.
Oh
I know
yeah.
I heard
In
like,
hotspots.
yeah, like 80% of the population is 200 miles from the border or something
Exactly, yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing, man. But yo, thanks for coming on today.
Yeah.
Everybody go
absolutely.
check out Hello London's music because I think it's fantastic. It has that like really like human aspect to it. You know what I mean? Like it's not a lot of digital stuff going on. It's a lot of you playing, right?
Yeah, it's next on my list of things to do is to try and
Oh, there
learn
we go.
that, but it hasn't happened yet.
So it might get a little more electronic yet. Let's see, right?
I'd love to. Yeah, I'd love to try. I don't know though. I kind of like what I'm doing with the guitars, and I like to stick with guitars too. So it's kind of, but yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, again, thank you for coming on, bro. It's been a great interview, and everybody else have a great afternoon or the rest of your Sunday. Cheers.